Hello all you people who do not exist other than in my perceptions of you. It's the 12th of March and I'm here to tell you today that it's all in your head. Or as that bald kid in the Matrix would say, there is no spoon. Why am I telling you this? Well, because today in 1685 was the birthday of the philosopher Bishop George Berkeley, whose central idea is that objects don't exist in the real world. There is no such thing as matter and that everything is just in our mind. Far out, man. The thing about Berkeley is that although his ideas seem crazy on an intuitive level, he's incredibly respected not just by philosophers, but by physicists and other scientists as well. Because his idea that esse est percepi, which is Latin for to be is to be perceived, is very similar to what early quantum theorists were saying, with their idea that observation determines outcome. You must have heard of the uncertainty principle with the thought experiment of the cat in the box, where it's both alive and dead at the same time, existing in a state of quantum uncertainty until you observe the cat and can therefore determine whether it's alive or dead. That's very similar to Berkeley's notion that it's all about perception. Things do not really exist until they are perceived. So what does Berkeley actually believe? Philosophers before him, like John Locke, said that in the outside world there's certain objects, and objects are basically just bundles of qualities. Some qualities which exist independently of us, like an object's mass, its weight, its size, and some qualities that depend on us observing the object, like its color, its taste, its sound. Berkeley says that all qualities are just in the mind. All qualities of an object depend on observation. Try imagining something existing independent of any observation. You can't, because as soon as you imagine the object, you're imagining its qualities, its properties. Try with an apple. Try and imagine an apple without any size. You can't. You're just imagining a very small apple. Try imagining an apple without a color. You can't. You're just imagining one that's black and white, or gray, or transparent. Try and imagine an apple that doesn't have any taste. You can't. You're just imagining an apple that tastes like the air or water. Berkeley says that this tells us something, and that is that if an object is just made up of its qualities, and if qualities all depend on an observer, without an observer, that thing doesn't have qualities, and without qualities, a thing doesn't exist. Things cannot exist independent of an observer. To be is to be perceived. This is a fascinating yet trippy way of looking at the world. Because of course, if properties only exist in our head, then there really is no physical world distinct from us. There's nothing out there. The whole world is just our ideas. So when I look away from this computer screen, it stops existing. Because the qualities the computer needs for it to exist stop existing the moment my mind is turned elsewhere. So, to sum that up, an object is just its qualities, and qualities are all relative to an observer. They exist because there is an observer. So without the observer, there are no qualities, and without qualities, there is no object. The whole world is just our ideas.